Today is a massive day for the silver price and the gold price. $37 silver, $26 silver. I can guarantee you one thing. One of those numbers will come first. And in this video, we're going to talk about why I think the $37 silver price will come first. But today, we're taking it on the chin as silver and gold investors. That's normal. Nothing will go straight up. But why is today so important? Why did we talk about this? I warned you yesterday and a few times late last week that today, right, September 30th is the last day of the third quarter. If there was ever a day, just if, basement dwellers, there's a slight chance that possibly anyone out there is manipulating the price of gold and silver, today would be the day that they want to manipulate it down, because the end of the quarter numbers will be recorded at the end of today. And that's what a lot of people look at, a lot of big traders. So let's make it through today. And then we have 3 more months through the end of the year. Yes, we will get to $37 silver. Yes, I believe we will get to $44 silver. But let's dig into some of this data. We got a lot more to talk about as well. The BRICS, new news coming out about the big BRICS meeting that we're going to have really soon. And there's a lot more big news for the election. Just so much going on. Let's dive right in, though, to a great article from Kitco that gives us some keen insight into what's going on. This one from Dave Erfley. He writes a newsletter called the Junior Mining Junkie. Great guy. I've had him here in the basement before as a guest. Really super smart. And on top of that, even more important, just a very nice person. He says, with gold at all-time highs, silver remains cheap. Got a few things highlighted I want to share with you. He said, although gold has recently made the headlines, silver has quietly surged from just under $20 an ounce last October to a 12-year high of over $32 an ounce last week, outperforming gold. Guys, silver has had a stunning gain, okay, since when? October of last year of 65%. Right? Tomorrow will be October. That means 1 year ago right now, silver at one point hit below $20 per ounce. We've had a great run, but will it continue? It says the Silver Institute gave us their forecast. The deficit, silver demand, will reach a near record 1.2 billion ounces in 2024. Primarily due to solar. We've talked about that. We know what's going on in Australia. We know what's going on in India. And now they're talking about massive solar projects here in the United States. Solar is just exploding. Okay, but let's talk about last week. The rally that we had last week in silver and the other industrial metals followed China's broad stimulus package that could be another key driver behind the next leg up in silver. China's central bank unveiled its biggest stimulus last week since the pandemic. China is in panic mode, guys, and China was already driving the price of gold, already driving the price of silver. And as they continue to stimulate, we could see an even more robust level of demand, in particular for silver. Here we go. $37 silver in red. Silver is going to continue to rally over the coming quarters because of the consecutive rate cuts and as China's stimulus could continue for some time, said Amelia Zhao Fu, head of commodity markets at BOCI, adding that she sees the price moving towards $37. Do you see? Hold on. Did we lose you there? Hopefully we're still alive here, guys. Okay. $37 per ounce. Let's get back to this article. And we got so much to cover today. The silver price surged above $32 last week. Can also be attributed to strong demand during, we don't talk about this, is India is the precious metals capital of the world. We know unbelievable amounts of gold, but even more so silver. being imported by India. Their strong demand, their festive season and wedding season are coming up, a period typically marked by increased purchases of precious metals. The positive trend is likely to continue as bountiful monsoon this year will brighten crop prospects, potentially boosting disposable incomes of farmers, a major consuming group. If you heard this, I've heard it for years. Indian farmers, and I think they're mostly rice farmers, are some of the biggest buyers of silver in the world. What we're hearing from Dave is that apparently there's going to be a good rice crop in India. India has billions, 1.4 billion people. We're talking potentially hundreds of millions of people. Think about that. I have no idea, but let's say there's 300 million rice farmers in India and they have a good year. And all 300 million of them buy 2 ounces of silver. That would be 600 million ounces of silver. That would be more than half of the entire supply for the year. Just doing some very rough math, throwing out some ideas there. I have no idea. Somebody, if you want to email me, I'll look it up later. How many rice farmers are there in India? Silver imports to India jumped. This is crazy. From 158 million in August of last year, 158 million August of 2023 to 1.33 billion in August of 2024. That's darn near like what? That's a 9 times, not 9%, 9 times increase, with over 3.5 million weddings expected this year. There are so many people in India. 3.5 million weddings. Demand for both gold and silver jewelry is also expected to rise by 25%. Let me look. I need to look you in the eye and explain something to you quickly. Indian people love silver and gold. There are hundreds of millions of Indian people. Okay. They buy jewelry as an investment. So you may say, oh, jewelry, what does that matter? No, Indian women buy gold jewelry, buy silver jewelry as an investment. And you know what somebody told me off the record? You know why they do that? Why the women buy the jewelry? Because if their husbands ever leave them, the jewelry, this is what I heard. I'm not saying this is the gospel or anything like that, but if their husbands leave them, the only thing they get to keep is their jewelry, and they know it has value. So Indian jewelry is it's like in the United States, we look at coins and bars as a good way to invest in silver and gold. Well, guess what? In India, they're maybe a little smarter than us. They're like, hey, if we're going to buy gold, we're going to buy silver. We might as well have it be something very pretty, something that we can wear. Experts like Rajesh Rakdi predict further price increases due to heightened consumer interest. Rakdi, a prominent jeweler, predicts that silver prices could continue to rise as demand remains strong, particularly given the reduced import cost. And we've got to remember this about India as well. They have like the most number, I think it's like 100 million people that they're projecting are going to move into the consumer class just in the next 5 to 10 years. They've got their economy is expanding like crazy. Okay, and these are people who are going to have disposable income to buy the electronics, to buy the all these electrical things, all that use silver, but also people who for the first time will have disposable income with which to invest in silver and gold. This was interesting in orange, with silver futures looking to post a 12-year high monthly quarterly close above $32. We're going to go do an update on the price here. I don't know if that's going to happen. But the last time this feat was accomplished during a major upleg was in Q4 of 2010. The metal then went on to trade at its all-time high of $50 an ounce within the space of 100 days. If this is a leading barometer of predicting the future performance of silver prices, we could see silver at $50 by Q1 of 2025. Again, we're looking at history that's not that long ago, guys. Okay, 2011. when the last time this happened and silver exploded up to $50. And then he talks about the gold to silver ratio. That is another crazy factor, right? 84 to 1, 84, 83, 86 to 1, wherever it's at right now. Historically, nosebleed levels that you're going to have to take 84. Think about that. Take 84 of your silver ounces to get 1 ounce of gold. Unbelievable. With silver being ignored by investors for the past several years, the silver equity complex might be the best trade right now. Many quality junior silver miners are still at rock bottom prices. I believe that 100%. And what that tells us is there's no money going into yet the junior silver mining sector, the explorers, the developers, even the small scale silver miners. What does that mean when this paper manipulated price gets broke, when the physical market overtakes the paper market? That means there's not going to be an immediate supply of new silver. There's no switch out there, basement dwellers, that can be turned on to create more silver out of the blue. When the market breaks, when the silver price skyrockets, when the COMEX, I think it's like $12 an ounce is the maximum that silver is allowed to go up in any given day on the COMEX. There's like these circuit breakers. It doesn't matter. Sure, there's going to be a small little marginal itsy bitsy part of increased production, right? Miners will do some high grading, but really there's not going to be enough silver, and it's going to take decades for the silver mining industry to catch up. I could be dead wrong, right? I have a lot of my money in junior silver mining stocks because if nothing else, I mean, you can buy these things and it's like you're buying silver in the ground, even in North America, Nevada, or even in British Columbia for like $1 or $2 per ounce. I digress, right? But just so you know, right, I eat my own cooking, right? A lot of my wealth is tied up in physical metal, which I keep off site, and physical stock certificates in mining companies that I also keep off site. But nonetheless, we're eating our own cooking, Susie and I. I have a vested interest in the price of these metals going up, probably like you do, right? We're probably not too different in that regard. Let's quickly go to a viewer comment. Before I forget, thank you, Basement Dwellers, 500 on a Monday morning. What are you guys doing? What an honor. Right? It's a big deal. We appreciate you being here. Yes, you. I see you. When you're here, you're part of the group. Welcome to the club. Right? We're in for some good times. We've already had some good times. We took the blindfold off that bear, all that crazy stuff, but nonetheless, we're in for some good times. Thank you. Please subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. Super chat, super thanks, support of any type are certainly appreciated. Oh, we want to go to the viewer comment. This was a great one. We haven't talked about this. This is one of those things maybe you forgot about, and this will make you feel good in one way, bad in another way about your investment in silver. Oh, wrong slide. That's the jewelry store by my house that suddenly now decided to become a bullion dealer. Right here from Michael McDonald. Silver is the lifeblood of war. There's too much war chasing too little silver. The amount of silver currently being destroyed in these wars is incredible. And we don't talk about that. I know Andy Schechtman and some of the other leading analysts have talked about hundreds of ounces of silver, for instance, being in the tip of a Tomahawk missile. We don't like war. We're not in favor of war and violence. But the reality is, right, we can't keep our heads in the sand. It's going on at a massive scale throughout the world right now. In the defense sector, doesn't really get reported how much actual silver is being used. So we talk a lot about solar demand, AI demand, investor demand, but something that always gets swept under the rug is the amount of silver used by the defense-oriented companies to manufacture, right? And a lot of the stuff they manufacture, right, gets destroyed, number one, unfortunately. And number two, it's very high tech. And don't we know one thing about silver? Like anything high tech uses a lot of silver. So thank you very much for that awesome Comment, guys. You leave comments, please. Leave a comment. You got to subscribe, but leave a comment. We read all the comments. Your thoughts matter. Together, right? We can make it through all this. This week, massive news story this week is going to be the jobs number. The jobs number on Friday. We're going to hear from the Bureau of Labor and Statistics. This will have a major impact on the markets. It likely, right, buckle up, Buttercup, will have a major impact on the price of gold and silver, right? I know it's on Friday, but let's go out to the quick headlines because this is going to be the biggest news story in the history of the universe for the silver and gold markets. This is what Yahoo Finance is saying. They're saying a critical labor report meets a stock market at record highs. What to know this week? Okay, and then it's just a bunch of BS that I'm not going to waste your time reading. Here, this is what I want to show you. Okay, here's what I want to show you. On the left, monthly change in payroll in thousands. Let's get the Crayolas out because there's something very important that we need to notice. We are like super technical chart readers here in the basement, guys. Monthly change in payroll. Do you see what's happening? Since January of 2022, the number of jobs is going down. And there's something even crazier about this. And do you see this over here? I'm sorry, somebody was texting me. Over here, the unemployment rate appears to be going up. And this, my friends, will have this will have a major impact on the silver and gold prices. Friday, we're going to get dropped with the big news bomb. Okay, so the number of jobs being created is going down. The unemployment rate is going up. You know, you live in the real world, right? It's hard out there. Middle class America has been decimated at the expense of the ultra wealthy, but they're more important than me and you, right? They deserve to have all the money, the top 10%, 1%, 3%, whatever the case may be. I digress. The big joke, let me pull it up very quickly one more time about this that you're looking at, okay? I got news for you guys. I don't know, you're probably about my age. Do you remember? It's all a big joke, okay? It's all a big joke. Do you remember that TV show when we were growing up? You probably remember, called Fantasy Island. It's like we're getting these numbers from these employment numbers from Fantasy Island. Let me remind you of one thing. Just recently, the Bureau of Labor and Statistics adjusted their numbers from March, the numbers they reported from March of 2023 all the way through March of 2024. And they said, oops. We made some mistakes. We overstated the number of jobs that were created during that 1 year period, March of 23 through March of 2024. We overreported by 818,000 jobs, almost 1 million jobs. So on Friday, in every month when they report the numbers, you know what happens, right? They quietly in the background say, this month we created all these jobs. Bidenomics is working. Everything's great, blah, blah, blah. Let's torpedo the price. Because if we get a big jobs number, Fantasy Island, on Friday, that's going to torpedo. That's not going to be good for the price of gold and silver. Be ready, all right? We got to be strong, and we will be strong. But every month when they report the numbers, then they all, in the background, they quietly say, and by the way, the previous 2-month numbers that we gave you, those were wrong. We're going to, last month we said we created 190,000 jobs, but we only created 130. And the month before that, those were wrong too. We overstated those by about 30 or 40. It happens every single month. Fantasy Island. I mean, really? On Friday, we might as well watch Cinderella and the Seven Dwarfs or Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, whatever the heck it is. It's Fantasyland. And the one more big thing that why we need to be skeptical of these numbers on Friday. If there was ever a labor report that was set up to be manipulated, it would be this one. Is it going to be? It's probably going to be the last one that's really going to have meat for the election coming up. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. We're just saying that you were wrong over the last year by almost 1 million jobs. We know that there's a big election coming up. Wouldn't it look great, right? That if we had, we created a record number of jobs, a record number of Fantasy Island, Cinderella and the Seven Dwarfs, make-believe, unicorn fart dust jobs. Okay. Go ask those. I'll end with this. I wonder if those 818,000 people, right, over the last year that got all those make-believe jobs, I wonder if they got make-believe paychecks they got to cash. I mean, the whole, it's like we're living in a fantasy land, crazy land. In this election, we got a lot, we got a lot more to talk about. I want to say thank you to the very special person who gave me this. This came from one of the most special people in my life. She knows who she is. I got this. Isn't that beautiful? Huh? It's an 1879 Morgan dollar, like brilliant uncirculated condition. This is my box. I just want to I'm going to share something with you. Things sentimental. I keep this box. It's got silver that's given to me. A lot of it's been given to me from basement dwellers. Of any silver I have, the stuff that I get from you guys and from this person, and she knows who she is. So I love her. She probably loves me more than anybody in the world. Is the most special. So thank you for that. Hold on here, man. It's crazy what's going on. So we got, on top of it. Okay, let's go to the economic calendar just so you're prepared. And when you're at the country club today, having your lunch, you can talk about the economic calendar, what we have to expect this week. And as you can see down here, this is Friday. Impact, bright red, non-farm payrolls. Okay, we also have on Wednesday the ADP numbers. Crude, we don't really care about. The manufacturing index on Thursday. These are all things that will have big impacts on the silver and gold price. But if we go down here to the non-farm payrolls, here's what we're expecting. Okay, we're expecting 125,000 jobs to be created. Last one was 118. Again, guys, be ready. I'm not accusing anybody of anything, and I could be wrong, but they're going to fudge those numbers. Friday could be crazy town. Okay, absolutely. Let's go out and check on the silver and gold price. Take a double dosage of our high blood pressure medicine because it is not good. Here we are at channel sponsor Pembex. This is not the updated price. Oh, boy. Okay, well, it got a little better. Silver at one point was down like 70 cents. Silver above $31, $31.17. Gold. Oh, gosh, gold. Oh, no, it's at $2,634. These are good prices. We got to remember, guys, nothing goes straight up. So let's hang in there. You never know what the rest of the day can bring. We'll come back. But right now, I know one thing for sure. If you're looking at buying some gold, silver, or platinum group metals, if you buy it today, you're going to get it cheaper than you did on Friday. Get a better value, maybe get an extra ounce or two. If you do decide to buy yourself some metals, please consider channel sponsor Pembex. Hey, they help us make this possible, right? Basement dwellers, our little club we have here, our little get together. You get to be part of this group. I get to be part of this group. And we get to do that because of the support of the sponsors. PIMBEX, online bullion dealer. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but please, if you're going to buy online, if you're going to buy at a local coin shop, just compare what Pembex can do for you. Do your own due diligence. What I found is I always get ultra competitive pricing, a great selection, and a company I can trust, and they can help out with IRA conversions as well. Please be very careful if you ever decide to convert an IRA into precious metals. Take your time, look at all your options. All right. That's not financial advice. That's just good, solid advice that I want to share with you. When I was looking at this last night, my daughters are getting old. Oh, that's upside down. Here's the back. I love Morgan's. Is Morgan, am I the only one who loves Morgan silver dollars so much? I know look at that thing. Isn't that beautiful? We were watching Little House on the Prairie. You know, that TV show that was like during the 80s. I have to coerce my daughters, but they're always talking about when they pay people on Little House on the Prairie. This coin, I just want to show you this quickly, is from 1879. I don't know if you can read that. I don't know if it'll focus. Yeah, there it is. See it? Hey guys, 1879. That's, I don't know what year the Little House on the Prairie is set, but it's probably around that same time period. This coin, right? Charles Ingalls was using these to pay people, right? They had a handyman at their house on Little House on the Prairie. He paid the guy with silver dollars, okay? About one of these probably per hour. Guess what? Right now, this is worth what? $30, $35, $40? I could pay somebody for a decent handyman for an hour of work. Silver holds its value. Let's talk about the BRICS, the biggest news story that you're not going to hear about on the mainstream media, that you're not going to read about in your local newspaper. But the BRICS could be instituting a gold-backed currency, a gold-backed trade settlement currency. Everybody's talking about it. It's a big, big deal. Let's have a cup of coffee, a sip of coffee, and then we'll be right back. And I got good news for you. No matter what happens with the BRICS, gold and silver are going to do well. Because I want you to think about this. If they do officially announce a gold-backed trade settlement currency, 40% backed by gold, which the Russians have indicated could potentially likely be the case, oh my gosh, it's going to rock the world financial system. What if they don't? Oh, are we doomed? Are we doomed? Are we done? Are we finished? No, because think about this. Okay, we know, even if they don't announce a 40%, a gold standard, whatever you want to call it, during this upcoming meeting, which is in 3 weeks, okay, even if they don't, they're still right now moving all of their trade, the BRICS countries, away from the dollar. So think about this. So if they don't trust, they don't want dollars, okay. And on top of that, though, they don't want to hold each other's currencies. China doesn't want to hold a bunch of Indian rupees, and Russia doesn't want to hold a bunch of Indian rupees or Chinese yuan. Even if they don't officially do a gold-backed currency, what they are going to do is they continue to de-dollarize, and because they don't want dollars and they don't want each other's currencies, what do you think they're going to buy? They're going to buy gold. All right, it's like gold wins no matter what. Silver wins no matter what. Okay, so it's going to be critical that we stay on top, and I will over the coming weeks. Developments with the BRICS meetings. They're talking about North Korea joining the BRICS. The Taliban expressed interest in going to the BRICS meetings. I mean, the world right now is changing like never before. Number one. Number two. Number two, we know that the precious metals are playing an increasingly important role in the economic system of the world. They're regaining their luster. They never went away, guys. I got news for you. We live in fantasy land, right? This is fantasy land. Woo, paper, worth money. Yeah, worth value. Yeah, I've been brainwashed. What was this worth 300 years ago? I wish it wasn't the case. Okay. This was when it was worth something. It's time for the daily visit from this. Come on, focus for me. Focus. There it is. Silver certificate. This is when it was worth something. And that's what I think I'm safe saying that. It's what our founding fathers, right? Hamilton, right? It's what the leaders of our country, you know what Thomas Jefferson said about central banks. You know what the guy who was president, Woodrow Wilson, he was the president who signed the Federal Reserve Bank into existence. And like 3 years later, he wrote this big piece saying, I'm the most depressed, sad man. I have ruined my country. Okay, so it's okay for us to feel this way. It's okay. What about the election? Oh, woof, man, gold and silver provide you with stability, safety during times of uncertainty. We're in the final stretch, guys. Let's hear what Marjorie Taylor Greene had to say. She is a U.S. representative. So again, I think I'm safe saying this. This comes from Zero Hedge. She says, quote unquote, be prepared. Marjorie Taylor Greene warns we are in, quote, the most dangerous phase in 2024 election. She's a representative. She issued a stark warning on Saturday about, quote, the most dangerous phase of the 2024 presidential election. With President Donald Trump leading Vice President Kamala Harris in several polls, Greene suggested that Democrats, quote, will do anything to stop him, later emphasizing anything. This is just what she's saying. She's an elected U.S. representative. It's not a political statement. I'm just kind of keeping us abreast as to what our elected leaders in Washington are saying right now. In a grim post, she wrote, the momentum shift has happened. Trump is leading and his support is rapidly accelerating. She then added, they've already been trying to put him in prison and literally assassinate him. Wow. That's a U.S. representative saying that. And think about that, guys. Think about that. What kind of world are we living in? We have a presidential candidate, a former president of our country, who, in the last 2 months, there's been not one, but 2 attempted assassinations. I mean, doesn't that sound like, and we're going to talk about Africa, nothing against Africa, but there's a lot of political turmoil and coup d'etats and things that happen over there. Sounds like something you hear out of some of these African countries. That's why, I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody, either through war, assassination, anything. But the uncertainty level right now that you and do you remember any other time in history like this? I don't. I'm 54 years old. I'm not some cranky old man, but I've been around for a few decades. And baby, this is the 90s were nothing. Y2K? I mean, do you agree with that? Like, we are in strange, scary times. And scary times call for insurance policies. And there's no better insurance policy on the face of this planet that has lasted for thousands of years. I mean, come on, baby, than silver and gold. And by the way, I forgot, did I tell you thank you? Did I say thank you for being here? You, okay? I see you. You're welcome here. You're part of the club. Okay, some of us like to call ourselves basement dwellers. I think most of us do. Okay, but you're very important. It's a big deal you're here. Thank you. Please give this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, press subscribe and then turn on the notifications. That way you get notified every time we go live, which is most every day. And it's always a big deal. We really appreciate you being here. Thank you to the moderators as well. Jake from Jake's Custom Parts. Hey, I see Ann Williams. Good to see you, Ann. Long time no see. Annie Oakley, moderator, the one and only Annie Oakley, and Big Tim the Silvershire, and of course Silver Susie as well. And I think I'm going to see Jake this week here in the basement. You never know, he might make a guest appearance on a live stream. Hold on one second, please. We'll be right back because we got more to talk about. Why do you choose to own silver? Why do you choose to own gold? We already covered the BRICS situation. We got a presidential election coming up. in a month. Tomorrow's October 1st, boys and girls, basement dwellers, buttercups. All right. On top of that, we've got a financial situation in this country that is untenable, will not work, doesn't work, right? We need to send calculators to Washington, D.C. It just doesn't work. We are in a whirlpool of debt. We are in a doom spiral of debt in this country. I'm only going to do it one more time. This is the last time we're ever going to do this until, and I'll tell you until what, but let's just go look, because it provides us with so much fear and entertainment to the U.S. debt clock. And guys, okay, still going. 35 trillion, 400 billion. You know that story. But it's crazier. And I found a few new things I want to point out here. The dollar to silver ratio continues to spike, 684. I won't come back here till we get to 700. Again, that measures the number of dollars being created via the M2 money supply as compared to each 1 ounce of silver. Absolutely astounding that for each 1 ounce of silver being mined each year, there's not, at this point, almost $700. And if we average it, if we go over to the right, let me zoom in here, because this, we haven't talked about this part for a while. If we go over to the right and we do a 5-year average of how much we get, there's over the last 5 years, on average, there has been 1,500 US dollars, unicorn fart dust paper, not backed by anything, 1,500 US dollars on average created for each 1 ounce of silver. That's the 5-year you see over there. And when we look at gold, we don't talk about gold, but if we go down here, the dollar to gold ratio is at 5,000, right? And again, that's going to measure how many dollars are being printed for each 1 ounce of gold. And the 5-year average on that is all the way out at 12,580. It's crazy. I mean, it's just absolutely crazy what is going on. And we are in the middle of a debt spiral. The Chinese are panicking, and the Chinese have everything to do right now, the last year, with the silver and gold. Now, I'm going to deliver some bad news to us, what some people are saying. But the Chinese have pulled out a stimulus gun, money printing, whatever you want to call it, like they haven't since C-19. And in C-19, you know that the governments of the world did stimulus and money printing like never, ever before, okay? It will increase the demand for silver. Okay, it could be a major driver for the silver price. But here's the catch. All right. Possibly as they're doing that and their stock market now is like exploding higher, right? There may be some people, in particular with gold, that decide to sell their gold and move money back to the stock market. So that's something that could be negative for the silver and gold price. I'm just not going to blow sunshine constantly. We could see some negatives there as well. Other big news, we're going to talk about New Jersey and Africa. Africa is the sleeper giant continent of the world right now, economically, but also for precious metals. And we've got news out of Ghana, news out of Zimbabwe and Tanzania, all of which are very interesting and will have a major impact on the silver and gold price. I, at this point, want to also say thank you. Channel sponsor, First Mining Gold, Canadian gold developer with 2 multi-million-ounce projects in Canada. You can learn more about them at firstmininggold.com. And Fortuna Mining, gold and silver mining company. They have silver and gold mines in Latin America, and they have some rapidly expanding gold mining operations in West Africa. Didn't I just tell you? I mean, Africa is just becoming behind India, in my opinion, right? They are making big moves when it comes to precious metals. The whole continent of Africa is doing some very interesting things. First, I want to tell you, though, is your state one of the few that still charges sales tax on silver and gold. Can you imagine going to your local coin shop right now or buying gold or silver online and that you live in a state where you have to pay sales tax? I mean, these people in Europe have it even worse than us. They have to pay a value added tax, which is like 20%. It's insane. Okay. But there are still states in the United States that are charging sales tax, but New Jersey finally eliminates it. Sound advocate monies are hailing. It was a hard fought. I mean, they had to really fight for this as New Jersey Senate Bill 721, thereby removing sales tax on purchases of gold, silver, and other precious metals above $1,000. And I think Florida has some kind of situation like that as well. But is your state one of the few? Hold on here. I know it's in here. Okay. It says our work isn't done, said Gleason. With New Jersey reversing its policy, New Mexico charges sales tax. Maine, Vermont, Hawaii, and Kentucky are the only states that still, I mean, does that make sense? Kentucky's like I would think Kentucky, it would be a very like conservative state, a state that's really into things like sound money. I'm really surprised by Kentucky. Maine and Vermont, I've never been there. I don't know. I've never been to Hawaii. Kind of not an oddball, but an off take, out there in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. We love all our friends in Hawaii. New Mexico's the other one that surprises me. I would think that New Mexico would not have sales tax on silver and gold. How can you charge sales tax on silver and gold? Sales tax. That would be like you going to your bank. Okay, gold and silver are in the Constitution. They are the only forms of real money in the Constitution of the United States. If you're anything like me, in high school, I had to take a Constitution class, didn't you? Right? And we learned that this is like the ultimate revered document. It's like the Bible of the United States. Maybe not a good analogy, and it says gold and silver are the only forms of real money. How can you charge sales tax when you're converting not the silver certificate, but this stuff, right? Paper money, but it's really not currency, into this, right? Real money. That's from Coin Shop Chris, right? How can you, that would be like you going to your local bank. I want you to imagine going to your local bank with a crisp $100 bill and saying, can I get 5 20s? And the teller says, yes, that'll cost you $108. And you'd be like, what? I want to convert $100 bill into 5 $20 bills. Which part of this don't you understand, Miss Bank Teller? And she'd say, I understand all of it, but there's a 8% sales tax when you convert money. I mean, that's what they're doing. If you go to the local coin shop with this to convert this into this, and they're charging sales tax. Right? They're charging sales tax on money. Does not make any sense whatsoever. Come on, Kentucky. Come on, Maine, Vermont, and Hawaii. And there was one other one I forget, but you get the point. What's going on in Africa? Oh my gosh. Every time we turn around, as the world is bifurcating, we talked about the BRICS, their move towards gold, silver, oil, real assets. Africa is like the battle. Africa, India is the precious metals capital of the world. Africa is the precious metals battleground of the world, in my opinion. West Africa, East Africa, South Africa, Africa, right? Gold. Listen to this. 3 quick stories about what's happening in Africa with gold right now. Let's go to Ghana. Okay. The Bank of Ghana. This comes from the CNR, City Newsroom. Hold on. The Bank of Ghana launches gold coin to discourage hoarding of dollars. They are de-dollarizing all through. They are moving to what? To gold, to silver, in red. The Bank of Ghana, also known as the BOG, has unveiled the Ghana Gold Coin, a new investment initiative aimed at reducing dollar hoarding. As part of the domestic gold program, this initiative seeks to absorb excess liquidity in the market and strengthen the local currency against major trading currencies. And guys, this is happening everywhere in Africa, and they tend to be aligning themselves more with the Chinese, more with the Indians, more with the Russians in a lot of circumstances, more with, yes, that's right, that's the RIC and BRICS, Russia, India, China. That's who they're aligning themselves with, okay? They want to get away from the dollar, and they're moving to gold. The Ghana gold coin is manufactured from Dowry gold dug out of Ghana, which has been refined to 99.99% purity. It is issued and guaranteed by the Bank of Ghana. Interesting here is that it will be available in 3 different units. That's a 1 ounce coin, a ½ ounce coin, and a 1/4 ounce coin to suit different investment size needs. Each coin has the Ghana coat of arms in the front and independence on the back. Okay, it's going to come in a special wooden and storage box as well. The point here is that the world is moving away from dollars. Look, we're just reporting the news, to gold. Now, next up, Tanzania. Let's look and see what Tanzania is doing. I mean, it's incredible. Another article from Reuters, mainstream media. Tanzania orders gold dealers to reserve 20% for purchase by the central bank. This is from Dar es Salaam. Tanzania's mining regulators have ordered all mining firms and traders exporting gold to allocate at least 20% of the commodity for sale to the central bank to bolster the bank's move to diversify its foreign reserves, aka also known as, read between the lines, move away from the dollar. The Central Bank of Tanzania, the BOT, I guess that's the Bank of Tanzania, began buying gold from local traders and miners in the last financial year that ended in June to boost its reserves amid depreciation pressure from the local currency, the shilling. Okay. In the 12 months in the 12 months to June, the central bank bought 418 kilograms of gold. Wow. To beef up its reserves, and in the current financial year, it intends to buy 6 metric tons. All right. It's very interesting, guys. All over Africa, we're seeing this move. And let's go to Zimbabwe, where maybe the news isn't so good, because remember, Zimbabwe was one of the first to come out with the ZiG, which was their gold-backed currency. But Zimbabwe, gosh darn it, they just have this real problem of printing money, of not sticking to what they set out to do, is my perception. And we did get this news out of Zimbabwe, again from Reuters. Zimbabwe allows their currency to slump over 40%, and they hiked their policy rate. Zimbabwe's central bank allowed the local gold-backed currency, that was called the ZiG, to fall over 40% against the dollar on Friday and hiked its policy rate, giving in to weeks of sustained pressure on the currency, which was only launched in April. So that's an update there. Let's see what else we have here. I want to say something. I'm a little worried about some of our fellow basement dwellers, guys. Of course, we had this horrible hurricane that hit Florida. Anyone in Florida who's suffering, our heart goes out to you. But for some reason, we have a lot of basement dwellers that live in North Carolina, one of which I've heard back from. He was one of the originals. He's doing okay. He lives up in the mountains. The other guy lives in Black Mountain, and I've not heard back from him. And I'm a little concerned. I know that the cell coverage is out, but if you see what's going on in North Carolina right now, these Asheville area, and he's in the Black Mountain, Asheville area, it is not good. So I'm going to call him Mr. M. I don't want to divulge any, confidential information, but he's a great, great guy, a very successful small business owner in that area, and he's MIA right now. I don't want to think the worst. I just hope that he's safe. I have a feeling that some of his property may have been destroyed, because it was, if you look, I mean, my gosh, north part, these small towns, and I think the problem is it's very mountainous there, and they build the towns kind of in the valleys. So when all this rain hit, it was just unbelievable flash flooding that occurred. So our heart goes out there, our concern. I'm hearing that the COMEX and the LBMA, I saw a couple of reports over the weekend, both the COMEX and the LBMA, that their vaults are continuing this downward trend. Guys, it's going to be an interesting ride as we head through the end of the year. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. I think that's it. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the basement. It is a big, huge deal. You're a big deal, right? Absolutely. This. You are just as important as me or anybody else that's here, right? So be good to yourself today. Thank you for being here. Please, guys, don't forget to support our sponsors, PIMBEX, Pimbex, okay, First Mining Gold, and Fortuna Mining. Have a great day, okay, and I'll see you guys soon. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.